Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Absolutely Not podcast. I'm your host, Heather McMahan. How are ya? Hope you're having a great week. We did a nice little blowout today. Ooh, let me get this mic tight. Did a little blowout today. Got those Velcro rollers out. I got a fucking cowlick at the top of my head, and I've always had it. But because my hair is growing back from, not being on my head, it is like if I don't get the fucking Velcro rollers out, if I don't get a round brush, if I don't put so much oil and deep conditioning and detangling bullshit on the top of my head, which then only allows me to stay not greasy for about 14 hours, then this cowlick just has a mind of its own. And everywhere I go, like all week, all my friends would just kind of like lick their hand, and then kind of wipe me down. And I'm like, I know it's the fucking cowlick. I don't know why I'm about to turn 37 and this thing is popping off. Like it is spring break 93. So I'm fighting for my life over here. So if you're watching this on YouTube, lay off me. Okay? I did a full blowout this morning. And I got a lot of fucking fake hair in here. So leave me alone. Anyways, what's going on? Hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I am very excited. We got a lot of shit happening in these next couple weeks down the pipeline. And I, again, am trying to be present, trying to be proactive, not reactive. But it is very hard for me right now to center my brain because today, after I wrap this podcast, I got to go home and I'm packing for the following places: Las Vegas, LA, Auckland, New Zealand, 2.5 weeks in Australia. It's a lot. I'm hitting a lot of different climates. I'm hitting a lot of different activities. And I gotta get the brain right. The ADD. I'm making lists, y'all. I have realized the one thing that is truly helping me. If you're struggling a little bit right now and you feel like your brain is ping-ponging around like a pinball machine, write a list. Make a list that is so obnoxious, you write brush your teeth, make a coffee, eat a piece of toast, take your vitamin D+K2. Like whatever you got to do, write it down. Because that is the only way I'm surviving and keeping my head above water right now is meticulous lists. And you know what? I always said if I was going to get a tattoo, well, I thought about getting my dad's tail number from his airplane when he died. And I told him that in the hospital while he was laying there and dying. And he goes, and I quote, "Don't be an asshole." So if I was ever going to get, I always say this, if I was ever going to get a tattoo, there's a couple things I'd get. One, it was my dad's tail number. But then I realized that that wouldn't look good on the wrist. You get what I'm saying. It's not the vibe I'm going for. I thought about getting, one of my dead pets, rest in peace, Delta, my cat who died of a heart murmur. This is the first time in my adult life I have been without a feline. Yeah, first time. Turn in the corner of 37 and I am feline free. And I got to be honest with you, little place in my heart is empty. But you know what? I guess it's the dog's time to shine. So here the fuck we go. But no, I thought about maybe getting a dead relative, a dead cat. But I do think one idea that I have said over and over again that is a staple in my life is I would get the words, write it down. As a comedian, I always tell my friends we're sitting around, pitching jokes, write it down, write it down. I always write it down. If it's in the middle of the night and I'm laying in bed and I have an idea, I get up, I write it down. Or even I make a voice note, write it down. If there is one bit of advice that I could give to the youth of America, it would be, you have an idea, you have a thought, write it down. You will forget it. You will forget that brilliant idea that you have come up with while you are passing around a fucking bong with your ding-dong friends. Write it down. Record it and or write it down. But I would like to get a tattoo that says write it down. Maybe I'll do that in Australia. I can't do that. My mom said she would never let me get any money. I don't know why I think I'm going to get money from Robin. We already know that she's been hiding money in a credit union that was allegedly under my name, but she's been spending the funds. Sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place today. And I even made a list of the things I wanted to discuss for today's podcast, but I am bouncing around. That's what happens when you have ADHD. Anywho, what are we talking about? Okay, so tinking. So I've got a lot on the plate. We are moving forward through time and space at such a rapid pace that I kind of can't get my bearings. The top of that fucking list of things to get done before I head out of the country is get my Botox redone. It's worn off, you know what I mean? And in the proper amount of timing. But I looked in the mirror today and I go, God damn it. I am, you know what I mean? That forehead is moving. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Nothing pisses me off more than when you go to lunch with a girlfriend who's an all natural girly. And then she says like, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't need Botox. And then she forces me to sit at a Panera Bread and I got to stare at her wrinkly ass forehead. Good. I'm so glad you're all natural, but don't get on your Apple box or your soap box, or your shop box and preach the good word of you only do all natural stuff and then make me look at that sagging forehead. Okay? Just be wrinkly and don't talk about it. Thank you. Unbelievable. Every woman who's driving her white Lexus right now knows exactly what I'm talking about. We all have that one girlfriend in a group, and that's great. If you want to be all natural, do you. But don't sit at a lunch and bring it up every time you see me that you don't want to put botulism in your forehead and then make me look at your sagging eyebrows. Why? I do Botox in the jaw because I grind at night because I have a lot of things on my plate. And then I get up and I can feel my molars just the top layer of my molar is just disintegrating off into the wind. And so I write it down. But yeah, don't make me go to lunch with you at some expensive French spot and we're sharing a steak frites. And you're like, honestly, like I know I'm about to turn 40, but I'm doing nothing. Like that I'm just going to try and age gracefully. I don't care. We've all talked about it in the group text. Get some Botox. No, I'm kidding. I'm not bullying anybody into Botox, but it's just, we all know that one girl who just every time we see her, she's got to bring up the fact that she's done nothing to her face. And we're all like, well, maybe you should. Anyways, I'm being a real bitch. Okay. Anywho, what's something happy to talk about? Something happy to talk about. Oh, man. We are back on the road. And let me tell you what. I popped off this year. Last week, I was in Jacksonville, Florida. I was in Pensacola. And if Florida didn't do what Florida usually does, I would have been disappointed. I mean, I would have also been a little elated to not have had to have dealt with the regular Florida bullshit, but y'all always show up in a true Florida fashion. So at the show in Jacksonville, on that Thursday night, a woman, God bless her, projectile vomited in her row. So about, I'd say a quarter into my show, I just see 10 people about 30 rows back have to get up and go dry themselves off. So there was that. And then we get to Pensacola, and to the left of me, so out of my left peripheral eye line, there is a woman. Every single thing I said, I could have said, red, I could have said penis, I could have said sports. She would repeat the word and then yell something back at me. And I tried to just ignore it as long as I could, but I wanted to I was really getting frustrated. But I had a great time. Don't get me wrong. I had a fantastic time in Florida. But Florida crowds always do what Florida does, and that's just be unhinged. I love this little thing in Jacksonville that it's the county is called Duval, and so the theater had warned me before I went out, and I've performed in Jacksonville before, but they said, just so you know, if you say, "What's up, Jacksonville?" they're going to yell, "Duval." And when they say it, it sounds like you're getting booed. So they're like, "We just want to warn you." So I go out there, I'm like, "Jacksonville," and they're like, "Duval," and they go on for like a solid 30 seconds. And if you're standing on the stage and you weren't prepared for that information, you would absolutely think I'm getting booed right now. And I just took a second And I laughed and I was like, I got you. Y'all thought I didn't know what y'all were doing, but I'm in. And I asked one of the audience members, why do y'all do this? And this guy just goes, because we're the biggest county in America. And I laughed so hard to myself. I was like, what other fucking city brags about the size of their county? Like, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. We have a huge city. And I don't go around going, Fulton County. I mean, it's such Florida shit to just find something fucking random to yell at people to remind us that we're in Florida. This guy was like, I know, man, but we're the biggest county in America. And I'm like, and you've got one Chipotle. Figure it out. Unbelievable. So, I mean, if I said anything, they were just like, Duval. And it made me laugh so hard. Only Florida would just like pound their chest and be like, we're the biggest county in the world. I'm like, city, sure. Who's talking about counties? What are we doing at a county level? Relax. I'm very into the county pride, but it came out of left field. But I hope the woman who I got, a little overserved at the show, I hope she's doing well. I apologize if you, got barfed on. But I guess this is just what happens. You got to know if you're going to any sort of show in Florida, whether it's a concert, whether it's a comedy show, whether you're going to, a Miss America pageant. Anywhere in Florida, every time I have a Florida show, there, without a doubt, there's a cop who comes up to me after the show and he's like, loved the material. By the way, we had about 3 women get arrested and definitely somebody barfed. So I don't know what y'all got to do in the state of Florida, but I've said this a million times. Have a chicken quesadilla and slow down on the white wine. You got to have a solid base before you crank it up a notch. And the jokes are hitting hard, so you know the abs are gonna be on fire. Anywho, what else is going on? So we're on the road. I'm packing. I'm going to Australia. Get your tickets at heatherontour.com. If you are living down under, I'm so excited to come down and do some shows. I think right now I've sold about 4 tickets, so I don't know what else to do. I will show you my tits. I'll give you a hand job. You know what I mean? I'll put a koala on my back and do the whole show from a nature reserve. I don't know what y'all need from me, but I am so freaking excited to come to Australia, but I got shadow banned. So this week I'm trying to do I'm promoting the tour for Vegas. I'm promoting the tour for Australia. And I was like, why is nobody seeing any of my stuff? And then I have to call up Meta, ring, ring, ring. And they're like, somebody went through and picked out every photo of you in a bathing suit or, in a low cut top and flagged it for porn. And I know it was a person. It wasn't AI. They were able to tell me it was a person. And it was some woman who got pissed because I haven't opened her DMs because I've been a little busy and was like, I'm going to get this bitch back. I'm going to get her back. Porn. Like she just went through and clicked on everything. So then I had to call Meta the other day. And thank God, listen, first world problems. Okay. You know what I mean? God forbid you don't see my fucking ass for maybe 24 hours on the internet. God forbid. I'm sick of myself too. I get it. But I just, you get on these phone calls with these apps and they're like, oh yeah, it was a broad in Birmingham. She was just calling your ass out. And I'm like, y'all gotta cool your damn jets. Of course it's a woman from Birmingham reporting all my things. I'm sorry. Lindsay, look, I'm looking directly into the camera. I'm sorry. I don't have as much time as I used to go through every single direct message. Okay, I will do that this weekend. No, I won't do that this weekend because you want to know what my schedule is this weekend? I'm flying to LA. We're rehearsing for the Grammys. Then I got to get up. I have another rehearsal for the Grammys. Then I fly to Vegas. I do a show in Vegas. Then the next morning at 7 a.m., I am on the 7 a.m. flight back to LA. And then I'm in hair and makeup because we're doing the Grammys, which is so freaking exciting. If you're just hearing this now, I am going to be doing red carpet with E again. We had such a success with the Emmys, and I'm so grateful for everybody who commented on the E page and was just very supportive and excited for me. I'm so grateful for that. So they asked me to come back for the Grammys. I am so excited. I am going to be doing the Grammys, and by doing the Grammys, having sex with Harry Styles. No, he will not be there, I don't think. I'm going to be hosting with E again on the red carpet. I am super freaking excited. And y'all, thank you so much for being so kind and, just letting E know that you enjoyed me for the Emmys. So they invited me to come back. And man, if you don't think I'm going to try and get a whiff of Olivia Rodrigo, you don't know me. I am so freaking excited. It's going to be fun. And you know, what I'm excited mostly about for the Grammys is it's rock star shit. You know what I mean? People might be on a little Xanax. Somebody might have taken a little, Quaalude with a little Sprite. That's what I'm excited about. I'm ready to see a couple rock stars, a couple country music stars, some rappers let their hair down. It's a little less buttoned up like the Emmys. Because TV stars, the network's watching. But honey, the record label wants you to do something crazy. And I will be in the mix. Very excited about that. But yeah, so anyways, we got a lot going on, which is very exciting. So it was not an opportune time to get shadow banned, but shout out to the team at Meta. Shout out to my girl, Emily. They got it fixed. But it's wild when you can see who's tattletaling on you. And if you don't think that I know, and I have printed out your profile picture, and it's on it's in a nice little home goods frame right next to my bed. And in the middle of the night when I get a little spark of creative joy, I just sit up and I look at the photo of the woman named Lindsay from Birmingham, and I add to my list. I write a funny joke. I'm like, great new material. And then I write, prank phone call Lindsay later. And I add it to the list. Write it down. Anyways, let your haters be your motivators. And that is why we're going back on the road. I don't even know what the fuck am I talking about today? I'm sorry, y'all. My mind is going a million miles an hour. I know that when I leave here, I have to go get something notarized. Can I tell you how, that is probably the hardest part about being an adult, is finding someone to notarize your shit. If there's any notaries out there, could you be a little more accessible? And I'm not asking you to do anything illegal, but my God, these people who own the fucking stamp, the embossed stamp, have a little too much power, and they're on vacation too many days of the year. When you're an adult, if I could go back and talk to college classes, I would tell them learn about finances, youth is wasted on the young, yada, yada, yada. But I would also say, figure out who is the closest person in your town that has an embossed raised stamp that can notarize your shit. Because when you become an adult, the amount of shit that you will need to get notarized is alarming. I'm trying to get this insurance stuff wrapped up. And I gotta drive to the club. I gotta drive here. I gotta drive to this bank. Oh, that notary. They're like, I went to the bank today and they're like, the notary's in Key West. I'm like, she's been in Key West since November. Either y'all gotta hire a new bitch or she's gotta start doing this virtually. Can anybody else just take this thick stamp and just stamp my shit so I can wire some money to an insurance company that's probably, when I really need the insurance, gonna deny the claim? Because that's the tailspin I'm in today. I mean, these women, and it's usually a gal, and I'm not hating on my sisters, but I am a little charged up since I definitely know a woman tried to shadow ban me on the Instagrams. But when I tell you that these notary bitches are on vacation too often, and they will hold it over your head. If you know that there's a lady in your neighborhood who's a notary, and when you find out who is a notary, you're like, you definitely should not be in charge of ever signing a legal document. It's always the drunkest woman in your neighborhood. And you know it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The drunkest person in your neighborhood at the Bunko group is always a notary. And if you don't know what a notary, why you need something notarized, it's basically a third party who looks over a document and signs it and stamps it to say hey, I was present. I was a third party to oversee this very important document. Okay. It's just an extra set of eyes. But if you know, and there's always a woman at the Bunko group, right? Or at the Bridge Club or whatever, and she's really fucked up. And she's always causing a scene. She's always about to get divorced. And after she's had about 7 espresso martinis, she will lean over to you and drunkenly be like, just so you know, I feel like we're vibing. If you ever need me to stamp anything for you, I'm a notary. I'm a notary. And then when you call her, she's on a fucking pontoon houseboat in the middle of a lake somewhere in Canada. And you're like, hey, Julie, what good are you to me at this point? You dumped all of your family drama on me. I spent 3 hours on a Tuesday night. I don't even know how to play bunco, trying to figure out how you were going to divorce your husband. I even helped you find an attorney. Now you're back with him on a houseboat, and I can't get my insurance stamped? Oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. These notary women will literally, they always have like a Vera Bradley bag, and they're just waving that stamp in the air, letting you know, I can stamp your legal documents, but I'm not going to be back for 6 months. I'm in Key West. And you're like, God damn it, Julie. God, oh. So anyways, that's what I'm doing today. That's it. That's what being an adult is about. Being an adult is about always trying to get your hormones to a perfect level because you're either not getting your period or you're getting your period too much. It's about getting legal documents signed. And then, I don't know, trying to figure out what's wrong with your car. Those are the top 3 things you doing as an adult. And then realizing once you're 36 that you should have signed up for some sort of insurance program when you were 21. But nobody told you when you were 21 because you had 14 freaking silver dollars in your bank account. That was it. Actually, I feel like those were probably worth something. Regardless, you didn't have the money to sign up for the things that you needed at the time that you should have gotten it. So now I'm begging insurance companies to put me on the roster. Speaking of insurance, though, let's talk about the insurance of love. I got to see my dear friends, Elizabeth and Taylor Wilkinson, get married this weekend. And if you remember, I think it was about 2 years ago, I had my friend Elizabeth Howard on the podcast. She was one of my sorority sisters. And we just kikied about what it was like to date. And if her future sister-in-law wasn't listening to the podcast, got in touch with Elizabeth, said, I think my brother Taylor would be perfect for you. And we just celebrated their wedding this past weekend in Oxford, Mississippi, my old alma mater. Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, who the hell are we? Shout out to the Ole Miss Rebs, my team. We had the most ridiculous time back in Oxford. And the wedding was so fun. It was so great because we had all of Taylor's family who's from the mountains, you know. I mean, he is a Bozeman, Montana kind of zaddy. So we had all these like hot mountain guys hanging out with us, country girls. And it was a freaking blast. And we went back, shout out to the Library Sports Bar. You know, I'm always showing them love. But we went back to the Library Sports Bar, and it was like the perfect amount of people on a Thursday night. I was out on the patio. DJ Mario was playing on the 1s and 2s, and he did a remix, okay? He did a remix from The Windows to the Walls, one of the most iconic songs you want to hear on the patio. Then he mixed it into 'Cause I Get My Drugs from Amsterdam. If you don't know that song, that is my jam right now. So I heard 2 of my favorite songs in a matter of a 10-second mashup, and I was chugging down tequila sodas. I was on a quarter of a gummy, and I was cruising. And we had so much fun. And one of the groomsmen from Montana looked at me, and he was like, is this place heaven or what? And I was like, it is. And it was just so fun. We were feeling nostalgic being back at Ole Miss. We were having a great time celebrating our friends. But I got to tell you something. And I know I'm probably a little extra cunty and catty today, okay? Because I'm fired up. I'm a little zesty because Lindsay from Birmingham was trying to take me down on the interwebs. But I know that when I was in college, I wore a very specific uniform, okay? I would always wear a frat daddy t-shirt. So it was like a Sigma Nu date party t-shirt and like a men's 3XL over a pair of Nike running shorts. I never ran. I didn't even walk briskly to class, okay? I literally was dropped off from my dorm maybe 30 yards up a hill to my classes in the theater department. All right. If you don't think I had a sorority sister who was doing touch and goes for me, then you didn't know what kind of sisterhood I had. But my uniform was always Nike shorts that I never exercised in and literally a garbage bag of a date party Sigma Nu, Sigma Chi, Kappa Sig, whatever fraternity shirt, okay? Whoever I was giving a hand job to that particular week gave me a frat tee. And that was the uniform. And then we would wear, we didn't even really rock the Nikes then. Like we did, but we had some sort of sneaker, like New Balances were hot then. They've now made a comeback. And that was your uniform. And then when you went out to the bars, you always wore, any of my millennial girlies, we always wore. It was like, hey girl, what are you wearing? I'm going to wear probably like skinny jeans and then a going out top. And then some sort of like Steve Madden mule. That was the uniform. That's what we did. So I got to be honest with you. I was a little shocked at the uniform of the Ole Miss class of, 2023. Every single girl there is knocked down, drop dead gorgeous. I'm talking about, I'm going to say it, we have the prettiest girls in the SEC, period. Period. Okay? Any pervert who wants to fight with me, I will go. And all the girls were wearing kind of baggy, straight leg jeans and some sort of crop top. When I say, though, it is wild to be standing in a bar, and I was in like a black leather dress and like, an oversized denim jacket with a bedazzled fringe on it for the wedding. And I'm looking at all these girls, and it was just a sea of acid wash, kind of light wash, straight denim. They all had on the Nike Air Force Ones, white. You couldn't have a two-tone Nike, okay? And what's in my closet right now? All two-tone Nikes. So I might as well put a gun in my mouth. They had all the same. It was just like the same level eye line of asses with these baggy jeans and these crop tops. Now, they all have the bodies for crop tops. You know what I mean? Good for them. But here I was, and I looked at one of my girlfriends, and I said, I've never seen so many women with banging bodies in these hideous baggy jeans. Now, I get it. It's fashion, okay? Your girl's a fashionista, more of a maxinista some days. But it was like I really said out loud after I took my fourth walk me down shot. And if you don't know what a walk me down shot is, Google it, okay? You clearly didn't go to college in the 2000s. And I just said, youth is wasted on the young. And I went up to a young girl and I was hammered. And I was like, I know you got a tight ass. And I was like, why are we wasting it on these dumpy ass jeans? And she was like, girl, I don't know. It's the vibe. And also, I was so upset because if I wore a sneaker, if I wore a sensible, comfortable shoe to a bar in college, they would not have let me in. Okay? Even if I showed up with $100 of crisp cash to tip the bouncer, he would have said, no sneakers allowed. That was not an option. So I'm coming from a place of just being, an elder millennial. I'm coming from a place of jealousy, of bitterness, but also like we wore the tightest shit to the club. If you don't think my body was being sucked into a size 12 BB baby bandage dress that did not fit, then you didn't know me, okay? My favorite thing was just, you always knew the uniform was a pair of jeans and a going out top. All these girls wear the exact same thing. It's a baggy, dumpy ass jean and a crop top from Shein and a white Air Force One. But I kind of like, my husband was even looking around and I was like, babe, what is this? He's like, it's like a little army. That I've never seen less individuality. And I know that that's the look right now. So I'm not shitting on the girls at Ole Miss. But girls, the jeans it's giving you dump butt. It's not giving. I mean, I guess y'all don't fucking care. Y'all have abs. I didn't have abs. If you wore a crop top, if you wore anything that showed your midriff to a college party, they would literally throw stones at you in the street and be like, she's a whore. Now, I always wore a halter top, and I was one sneeze from just letting a titty loose. I mean, I've told you this before. One of my sorority sisters found me at a huddle house with my tit and a hash and a grit. I had a tit and a hot grit. But I was dying. I was talking to one of the younger Delta Gammas, and she was like, I know. This girl looked at me, she's like, I know, I hate these jeans too, but like, that's what we're wearing. And I was like, I was like, break out of the mold. Go get a boot cut. There's just so many hot girls in these shitty jeans, and I couldn't figure it out. And then one girl heard me asking another girl and got kind of annoyed. And I was like, girl, no hate, no shade, but you guys are hot. And she was like, thank you. I was like, put on a heel. For God's sake, put on a heel. We didn't get to just roam around the streets and the bars in our sneakers. Do you know how much I would have loved to have had a supportive tennis shoe to just get fucked up in? No. I probably sprained my ankle 43 times my freshman year. It was like a rite of passage. If you didn't end up in urgent care from a fat ankle, after walking out of a dirty bar on cobblestone streets in a college town, you weren't living. We did wear these tops that were very flattering back in the day. Brand was called tea bags. I don't know if tea bags is still around, and I know this is a very niche conversation, but we used to wear these tops called tea bags, and they were the most flattering top. If you'd put on 73 pounds from drinking in college, it didn't matter because it was a V-neck. And it was kind of slutty, right? So you could wear a push-up bra, really show off the girls. And then it kind of cinched right underneath the boobs and then was flowy. So it was really flattering. If you don't think I lived in a teabag top, because I put on 47 and a half pounds in the first 2 months of college. Like, you know what I mean? I got to Mississippi and the salt just stuck. I couldn't get any of my jewelry off. I had bangle bracelets that they had to physically, medically remove at a fire station because that's how swollen my arms were. And I got tiny wrists. For a thick bitch, I got tiny wrists and tiny ankles. But I came home at Thanksgiving and my mom was like, your arms are purple. You're not going to make it. We got to drive you to the fire station immediately. But yeah, we wore teabag tops. We wore gaucho pants. Now, I never actually wore the gaucho pants because I had thicker thighs and it just didn't look good on me. But if I could, this is what I'm saying. If I could give these girls just a touch of wisdom, it would be like, you don't have to wear exactly what everyone's wearing. If you need to wear a more fitted boot cut jean or a more fitted straight leg jean that just tucks the ass a little bit more, do it. Because y'all are basically wearing JNCOs. And if y'all don't know what a JNCO is, you need to Google it. Actually, I'm going to, Emily, put a photo of a JNCO right here. If you don't know what a JNCO is, this is a JNCO jean. And this is what the girls are wearing in college. We're a quarter of the way there. And these girls are so drop dead gorgeous. And I was very upset. Honestly, I was just jealous at how comfortable y'all are. You got a loose jean, you got a nice sneaker. You're showing off your ripped abs. I didn't have ripped abs in college. Oh, also the glow up, the face beats on these girls. I've never seen such great makeup in my life. And I was in charge of doing everyone's makeup in the sorority house before we left because I loved it. I mean, I was basically running a mini MAC counter out of the Delta Gamma house because we didn't have a MAC in Oxford, Mississippi. And I would do a smoky eye, wouldn't blend that shit. It was like Kat Von D from the eyebrows to basically the top of the nose. Oh, yeah. We didn't also own lip liner. Like, we had a hot red lip with a smoky eye and a neutral blush, but we did not, line the lips. You know what I mean? So everybody, when you'd have a hot red lip on, and then when you'd smile, your upper lip would just get stuck on your gum because we were using, a Maybelline all-wear hot red lip, and that shit was so drying. So you would be out at the club in your little BB dress, and your lip would just be stuck to the top of your gum. So all you young girls have got, you're overdrawing the lips, which is what we all do now. It looks great. No. I want you to imagine little baby Heather, 22 years old, put on 47 pounds in a tight BB dress, showing off that apple body in a heel that is literally going to make me get curb stomped later. And my lip is stuck. And I'm just like, from the windows to the wall, to the sweat drop down my balls. Like, that was me thriving. Oh, God. I'm sorry. I'm being very nostalgic right now. I'm sure we've heard this a million times. But then I saw these comfortable young girls, full glam beat, full crop top, JNCO jean, and a puffy sneaker. And I said, enough. They're all so hot, though. I mean, these girls can wear garbage bags. They are so hot. And I look back and we were all cute, but we weren't hot. These girls nowadays, stunning. Drop dead gorgeous. I'm going to go to the Delta Gamma house and just get a makeover. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I know that I can't always wear the trend, so don't put me in the loose jean. It ain't my look, boo-boo. The slimmest part of my body is those legs, so I'm wearing something tight. I'll wear a legging and a crop top and just go out athleisure comfy. But we were having a great time. And DJ Mario, he's still alive. He's alive and well. I don't know if he's well, but he's alive. He is alive. He was sitting up in his booth and he was doing the mixes, and it was just so much fucking fun. And we had a great time. You know, the wedding was beautiful. I loved that to be a part of it. It was just great. We had all of our friends. And, I just feel very blessed. I came back. My friendship cup was full. And I just loved everybody that I get to giggle with. Because there's nothing better than being hungover and giggling with your friends over a bacon, egg, and cheese on a very, very highly caloric, kind of dry biscuit. There's nothing better. And being so hungover, you're like, does anybody else have this? When I'm hungover, I crave sushi. I think it's because my salt levels are low. I don't know why I'll wake up and I'm just like, I need a California roll, which doesn't make sense. But we went and got some sushi. Then we got ice cream. That's where I'm at. In my hangover journey in my late 30s, I got to have a plethora of things to munch on. I can't just wake up, have a breakfast biscuit, and then keep drinking. No. I'm going to need 75 different meal options that day to continue just to cycle through all the poison in my body. But we had a good time. We had a great time. They let us back in the bar the next night at the library. It was a torrential downpour. We were all squished on the patio. We could have gone into the boom boom room, but we didn't. My girl Connie got on that mechanical bull and rode it like just a young buck. We could have gone in the boom boom room. We could have gone back to the sports bar that was covered, but no, we wanted to be out on that patio. And the rain was falling down. Let the rain fall down. Let it wash away. You know what I mean? It was a Hillary Duff moment. And we had a fucking blast. It was a really good time. Anyways, all right, we're going to get to the voicemails. I know I'm just kind of rambling about random nostalgic shit. All right, let's get to these voicemails. As always, you can call into the hotline, 800-213-7503. Before we get into that, though, remember, I am going to be in Las Vegas this Saturday night playing the Encore again at the Wynn. So if you didn't catch me last time, please come see me at the Encore Theater in Las Vegas. It's going to be a crazy 12 hours in Vegas. We're going to do it right. And then I'm going to be on the Grammys on Sunday night. This is coming up Sunday night, which is going to be very fun. So we're doing a lot. And then Monday I leave for New Zealand. So here we go. Doing the fucking most. All right, let's get into the voicemails. As always, 800-213-7503.
Hey, Heather, this is Lindsay from Las Vegas. I cannot wait to see you next weekend and giggle. I'm bringing my husband, who is the reason why I'm calling. He is my absolutely not, but also kind of an absolutely yes. But
okay.
Anyway, my absolutely not for him is when we go to a restaurant and say we are at a restaurant where a salad comes with the dinner. The waiter or waitress will say to him, "What kind of salad dressing would you like, sir?" And he will reply with none.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's right. You heard it right. My husband raw dogs his salad. Disgusting. So gross. He sits there like a little mouse, like a little rat or something, just nibbling on this salad with no salad dressing. So gross, but also kind of an absolute yes, because it does make me giggle when the waiter or waitress will look back at me and be like, "Is this real?" And I you know what? You can bring me his salad dressing. That would be fine, because I'm a dipsy gal. I like to dip and, drizzle on a little bit of everything. But, so that's my absolutely not. Love and light, tiramisu. Can't wait to see you.
I'm so glad you called in. I mean, we got to take this to divorce court. Okay, first and foremost, everybody knows if you're married, you kind of have these things like when you go out to a restaurant, you let somebody take charge. It's just the ebb and flow of a relationship. But you guys should also know that if you're going to raw dog a salad, you said it perfectly. You should just say, your spouse should just say, "You know what? Let me have the sesame dressing on the side." And then that allows you to just double down on your dressing without feeling guilty about it. But also, so that server went back to the hutch and was putting in that order and was like, this motherfucker's about to raw dog this lettuce. No, they've already placed a judgment on your table. That's bringing bad energy to your restaurant experience. I mean, I'm sure a bunch of people who are listening are a bunch of freaks who like to raw dog salad, but that's insane. I mean, the whole point of having a salad is for the dressing. And I get it. If you're not into the white creamy stuff, relax, pump the brakes, quit screaming at me. I mean, you've never had a vinaigrette that's just set your tits on fire? A good balsamic vinaigrette will make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. When it's got that tang, that bite on the back of the teeth, just like, and your little uvula, your uvula. Yeah, your uvula is that dingle dong on the back of your throat. And when it hits, it's like, you know what I mean? A poppy seed dressing. Dude, a poppy seed dressing is just the perfect amount of like a little bit of sweet. And then you get an extra punch of sweet at the end. Oh my God, like a poppy seed dressing on some sort of fruit salad, right? Like you got like strawberries over spinach with a little blue cheese. And then a little crisp honey crisp apple diced up real thin with the poppy seed dressing. And then after lunch, you just walking around getting the little poppy seeds out. There's nothing better. That's why you get the salad. I mean, what are we doing? Raw dog and lettuce. I don't know if you should stick with this, man. I mean, I would love to. I'm going to definitely bring this up at my show in Vegas this weekend. Hope you guys are sitting front and center. Just mind your P's and Q's. Be on the ready, because I will absolutely want to discuss this further at the show, but that's insane. And your husband should know better. He should never look at a server and go, I want to raw dog it. He should say, I'd like the dressing on the side. And be queued up to whatever dressing is that you are getting on your salad. If you're getting a Caesar, I'd like a Caesar on the side, right? Right? Kind of look at you. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. I don't know if you can stay married to this man. What's the point? You're telling me you're going to get a wedge and just palm the blue cheese and the bacon crumbles? Absolutely not. The whole point of the wedge is for the blue cheese dressing or the ranch. God, and this is an election year. What are we going to do? People who don't put dressing on their salads are going to be at the polls. For fuck's sake. I just need a second. I need a second to wrap my head around this. I'm not okay. Let's get to the next voicemail.
Heather, this is Angela calling from Florence, Italy, one of your favorite places. Yes, I live here. Yes, I studied abroad here. Grew up in Boulder, Colorado. Go Buffs. Now I've called Italy home since 2015, so almost 10 years. And a few gray hairs, I will admit. I just wanted to say absolutely not to the flux of sorority girls that are pouring into Florence right now for their spring semester. Now, you and I both studied here. We know how it is. Great place. It's become like another beast studying abroad in Florence. I mean, these kids, they are just gallivanting around town in their platform Uggs and hoodies and looking like bags of garbage, to be quite honest. And it's like, have a little respect, maybe let's learn a few words in Italian. Let's branch out instead of just getting a bagel at Melaleuca, which is this amazing, American, Australian style bakery that's right on the Arno. Let's live La Dolce Vita a little bit. I mean, am I right? Okay.
Yes.
That's my shout out. Love you lots.
Love you, honey. Okay. This is a perfect voicemail. Okay, gals. I already yelled at you about the loose jeans. You cannot show up to Florence, Italy and be rocking the hoodies and the platform Uggs. Absolutely not. When I studied abroad, okay, this is more advice from your world-traveled Aunt Heather. You got to go to that Zara. You got to go to an H&M. I don't care if you just take $50, all right? You're going to spend $50 on drinks at Club Bebo, all right? You got to take $50. And you better come out of there looking like an Italian girl. The highlight of my summer was going to a foreign country, changing who I was, basically being in cosplay the entire time, and then showing back up to America, back at Ole Miss that fall semester, and being like, wow, you guys are not well-traveled, I see. I don't know why I had a German accent. There was nothing better. You have a chance for the first time in your life to branch out and try it out, to be somebody different. And do not walk around Florence, Italy, looking like you're in Athens, Georgia. Don't do it. Do not do it. Oh my God, there was nothing more exciting than you would go to like the leather market and you get like a crossbody leather bag. You know what I mean? You get the red crossbody leather bag and you're like, I'm so European. I've got a crossbody leather bag. When at Ole Miss, the only bag I carried was my Marc Jacobs leather bag. But when I was in Italy, I was like, no, this is Italian. Yeah, there's not a name brand on it because it's Italian. You know what I mean? It's like if you go to Paris, what do? When you're studying abroad, you dress like a French girl. You only wear a light red lipstick, minimal makeup, and you get a trench coat and wear nothing else underneath it. And you go to nightclubs. Girls, come on. I know TikTok is influencing, but you gotta listen, if you wanna be having sex with hot Italian men, you gotta tone down the American just a little bit. And I'm not saying don't be who you are. Don't rep Chi Omega, but drop the Uggs. Drop the platform Uggs. Unbelievable. You can't be wearing an oversized hoodie. Do you know that if you're in Italy, they don't wear gym clothes to the gym? They wear regular clothes to the gym, change, wear their Uggs or whatever the fuck y'all are working out in. I don't know how the fuck you're working out in an Ugg. A platform Ugg. First of all, your feet are just on fire while you're trying to do Roman deadlifts. I mean, that just sounds asinine. Then you change out of your sweaty workout clothes and then you put on something chic. You got to wear Versace to walk home through those cobblestone streets of Florence, Italy. Oh my God. I'm glad we're talking about it. And I know my younger girls who listen to this podcast are going to tell me, wow, she's really just being an old fart. I'm not being an old fart. Do you want to know why I'm really upset about all this? I'm just going to say it. I'm upset about a lot of things. But the reason I'm upset is because when I was back at Ole Miss this weekend, the amount of young girls that came up to me to take photos with me, to say they were excited to see me, that were Delta Gamma sisters, that were any sorority. The amount of young girls that came up to me and said, hey girl, can I get a photo with you? My mom's a huge fan. Oh my God, you guys. My mom's a huge fan. And I looked at the first girl who said it and I said, how old are you? And she said 23. And when I tell you, I wanted to throw up right in that moment. Everybody said it. And I would say, do you know who I am? And like, yes, oh my God, of course. But my mom has been to like 80 of your shows. My mom is a huge fan. That's when things turned this weekend. And I felt old. And I just realized, wow, I'm in my mid-30s. We're now closer to late. I'm in my mid to late 30s. And I could be some of these girls' moms. I mean, I would have had to have had you in high school. But regardless, I heard. And shout out to the moms. I love all the moms. Thank God. I love the moms and I love the younger girls. But the amount of girls that said, I have to get a photo with you because my mom loves you, crushed me. Crushed me. Hurt people. And that's why I'm on a tear today. I'm so hurt. And I'm not saying that I'm trying to cater to a younger audience. But in order to have longevity in my career, hurt people. Well, y'all hurt me. When y'all came up with your perfect faces of makeup and you all smelled like Sol de Janeiro, you know what I mean? And you said, can I get a photo with you? Not because I'm a fan, because my mom's a fan. And that hurt me. I was trying to just vibe in the college bars and feel cute. I will say every single guy who came up to me though and got a photo with me because their girlfriends were fans, I did. I said, I'll show you my old tits in the bathroom if you want. And they're like, no, I'm good. Please don't do that. And I was like, all right, fine. I gave up an extra offering. It wasn't just like, oh, you're gonna get a pic. I was like, you want to come see my boobs in the bathroom? And Jeff was like, quit, Heather. No, none of these guys want to see it. And I was like, all right, you're right. And I was like, do you have a light for my cigarette? And they're like, nah, I just got a vape. How do you light a cigarette? And I was like, I mean, that's why I'm hurt. Hurt people. And that's where I'm coming from. I need y'all to know. And it shouldn't matter. But it just kept happening. And Jeff looked at me and he was like, babe, you've never had people, like, sure, young teenage girls, like, oh, my mom's a fan, great. But it was like juniors in college that kept saying, I've got to get a photo with you because my mom's a fan. And I know all the moms who are listening right now, who are driving around, probably just went to the mall to get a little, Valentine's Day gift for their daughter that's sitting at the KD house at the University of Tennessee right now. And they drove to the mall. They went into Bloomingdale's. That's apparently still alive and well. And they drove to Bloomingdale's, and they're like, do you have a platform size do you have platform Uggs in a size 5.5? And the lady at Bloomingdale's is like, who the fuck has a 5.5 shoe? And she's like, my petite, adorable daughter who's sitting at the KD house right now in a pair of Jinko jeans. I know that that's a conversation. And I know that mom is listening to this podcast right now, driving, staring at that Bloomingdale's bag in the corner of her eye, just going, these are the fucking ugliest shoes I've ever seen in my life. And my daughter's just getting to traipse around her college town with my Platinum Amex in a comfortable shoe. At least when we did it, we were uncomfortable. So when we would swipe our dad's credit cards at the bar, we were reminded every time when we felt the pulse, our heartbeat in the balls of our feet, we knew, you know what, Dad? You can't be mad because I'm still standing. These kids got it too easy. You think I ever got a care package from Robin McMahan at the University of Mississippi? Yo, we didn't have Amazon. Oh, God. I'm on a tear. We didn't have Amazon. So you know what we had to do? And I hope Emily, who is my social media guru, who is definitely going to be listening and editing these clips. Emily, I want you to know something right now. If you needed clothes for like a sorority swap, you didn't have Amazon. We had to go to a costume warehouse that was an old barn on the outskirts of town to get a costume. And we had to write a check and get a paper receipt. That's how we created costumes for these swaps. Or we would go to thrift stores. There was no like going on Amazon and getting a naughty nurse costume. There was no going on Amazon and getting, a Spice Girls outfit. No. I had to call a woman named Barb and go out to her barn, make an appointment, and then sift through a warehouse full of old costumes that had all been peed on or barfed on at some point, not dry cleaned. And I remembered there was like a clause in it. Like if you peed in the costume, you had to pay for it. But then they would still reuse it. They would just like hose it down out back with some Febreze. And, Randall would let his cigarette ash kind of breeze it out. That was it. Febreze and cigarette ash is what every single costume smelled like. Also what everything from Rent the Runway smells like. There, I said it. So regardless, y'all just have it so easy. When I wanted to order clothes, I didn't even have, before I moved in the sorority house, because I lived in the dorm, and getting a package at the dorm was a nightmare. So I got a P.O. box at our student union, and I would go on forever21.com. That was my Shein. And I'd go on forever21.com and order 45. I would click under the filters, whatever the largest size was. And that is what I would wear. And I would go to my little P.O. box and I'd get a slip. I get a slip in my mailbox. I get a little P.O. box and I grab all my boxes. And then one of my sorority sisters would illegally park outside the student union and I would run out with all my boxes. And because my frat daddy t-shirt was so big over these short Nike shorts that made me look like I was completely naked, I would just shove all the boxes under this billowy t-shirt and I would carry them out. And I would get in my sorority sister's car and she would drive me approximately 4.5 feet to the back of the DG house. And we'd all sit around in the chapter room and open our Forever 21 boxes. And then it would take 4.5 months to get a refund because you had to send it back by courier pigeon. So I want y'all to know you got it easy. So if I've been a little overserved and I come up to you and I get a tape measure out of my, full price Prada. No, I bought it at the outlet. My outlet Prada, and I get out there and I said, honey, you got 45 inches of circumference around this thigh that we're not utilizing. Let's get on a tighter jean. I want you to know it comes from a place of love. I am always trying to help you be the version of, be the you today you want to be tomorrow. We'll take off the jinkos. But that's why hurt people. Well, I'm telling you why I'm hurt. Because so many of y'all. And this one girl, I actually said to her, I was like, oh my God, again with the moms. I was like, do you know who I am? She's like, yes. Yeah, but can I still get the photo for my mom? So I don't know. I gotta hit harder on the TikToks. I gotta somehow get in that algorithm of these 18, well, obviously only legal, 19 to 25-year-olds. I don't know what, I gotta call Charlie D'Amelio, see what her vibe is. and just figure out how to get back in there. Because the amount of young gals that asked for photos for their moms was just, it was humbling. It was humbling. But you know what? At the end of the day, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love all your moms. I love all your dads. I also loved running into a guy that I knew from college. His wife was like, "Oh my God, my husband loved you in college." He said he get. Also, I'm bitter. I asked him, I was like, did you know Heather in college? And he was like, "Oh yeah, she was so loud." That is not how you describe a female comedian. There's a difference in being loud and there's a difference in being funny. And I just, in that moment, I was reminded that when I would tell people in college, you know, they're like, "Well, what are you studying?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian." They were like, "Okay." I forgot how uneducated men in Mississippi were to women being in comedy, you know, because there's a difference in being loud and there's a difference in having something poignant to say. Okay, on that note, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go get my blood sugar right. I'm going to eat a salad from Suprika, and I'm going to wrap this up. Next week, it's going to be a wild episode, and then the week after that, we are doing Valentine's Day, and I'm very excited to go through all your voicemails of your Valentines, absolutely nots, absolutely yeses. January felt like the longest month on the fucking planet, but we are out of it. We are moving into the Aquarius season. Let's get it. I will see you guys in Australia. I'll see you in Vegas. I'll see you on the road. Get your tickets at heatherontour.com. Remember, hurt people, and youth is wasted on the young. Love you, mean it. Ciao, bella. Arrivederci. Bye.